Okay, in this session I'm going to show you how to create a Gantt chart using Excel. So you'll see here I've set up a few things and I've just really copied this from your textbook on page 142. So here you've got project title where you put your topic, project members, so who's in your team, a series of task numbers, so if you've got 10 different tasks you would have 1 to 10, task description, who are the people responsible for that task, the resources you would use, a start and an end date for that particular task. Then here on the right hand side of the start and end date is a timeline. And the timeline will be set out for each day. So here I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if I was doing over 2 weeks, I would have all 14 days there. So here, the first task only takes 2 days, starting on the 1st and ending on the 2nd. So we would just highlight those 2 dates. We would use the fill color here. So all we have to do is just click on that fill color. And there we have it. There it is. And then if you want to have a look at the second task, that starts on the 3rd of the 2nd, it ends on the 4th of the 2nd. So all you would need to do is just highlight those 2 dates and again click the fill color. And then if you have a look up the top, I've listed 2 things here. The first one's called a milestone and the second one's called a dependent task. So a milestone really you would put for something that's a big accomplishment or an achievement. So for the design website, I've put here milestone because that's a fairly large task. And all you need to do is really click on the cell, go to insert symbol and find the symbol you're after. So in this case, it's a black diamond, which is there. And then if you want it to align it to the right, like I've done it, all you need to do is just click align right here and it should go. Then the second one is a dependent task. And as you'll see, the number of tasks depend on the previous task being completed. So for example, task 2 is dependent on task 1. So you need to really decide on the issue and do the research before you can develop a timeline and allocate roles. Similar with task 3 and similar with task 4. Some tasks may not be dependent on others, and if that's the case, here on this timeline, you would just leave it as it is. But let's say if task 2 is dependent on task 1, so that needs to be completed before you can move on to the second task, then all you need to do is use a line and the arrow tools here. So to click on line, and press shift before you click down. So I've got shift pressed. Now I'm going to drag across and then stop, and then I'm going to use the arrow tool and shift again to make it straight and drag down. So now basically with what I've just drawn, I'm saying that task 1 and task 2 are dependent. So task 2 is dependent on task 1 being completed first. And that's pretty much how you complete a Gantt chart in Excel. The other thing I'll get you to do before we finish up is just to draw this symbol again in the legend. So using the line tool and pressing shift, draw that across, use the arrow tool, again press shift and then drag down. Oops, drag down there. Okay, and that's the symbol or the legend for the dependent task.